Why no military on Earth could survive invading the United States. This is the video that we are going to check out. Welcome to Easy Reacts to America. And to be honest, I know few things around America. It's not that I am total beginner, but you guys have to teach me about America. What is it that makes you guys so powerful? I wanna know. So let's just dig it out. I'm excited.
Complete with towering walls, secret traps, and all sorts of defenses to protect the crown. In this scenario, the United States stands out as the toughest castle in the world. So, when someone asks, what would it really take to invade the United States? It opens up a fascinating conversation about how geography, demographics, and military strength come together to make the US one of the hardest countries to invade in modern history. But to understand why invading America is so difficult, we need to start with what makes invasions successful in the first place. Military historians point to several key factors: the element of surprise, manageable supply lines, and crucially, the ability to establish a foothold and expand from there. It just so happens that America's unique geographic position eliminates almost every advantage that has made invasions in the past possible.
Is America like surrounded by seas, by oceans? I think it's connected to Africa. I don't know, not Africa. It's actually connected with South America, right? I guess so, the continent. I think so. Not exactly America. It's the North America, the continent. I think it's connected with South America. So, is it hard to capture both United States and Mexico as well? Mexico is connected with United States, right, along with Canada as well.
Let's start with the most obvious barrier, the oceans. The United States sits between two of the world's largest bodies of water. The Atlantic
Okay.
Ocean stretches roughly 3,000 miles to Europe, while the Pacific spans an even more formidable 5,000 miles to Asia.
Wow.
But
It's
it's not just about
it's so away or so far away from other, continents.
distance. It's about what that distance means for a would-be invader. You see, modern naval warfare depends heavily on supply chains, fuel, and the ability to maintain communication across vast distances. Any naval force attempting to cross either ocean to invade America would be operating at the extreme limits of its logistical capabilities.
That is so
Consider
true.
this. The D-Day invasion, one of the most successful amphibious assaults in history, involved crossing just 100 miles of the English Channel. Roughly speaking, it required approximately 156,000 Allied troops, around 5,000 ships, and months of preparation, all supported by established bases in Britain. Now imagine scaling that operation across 3,000 to 5,000 miles of open ocean, with no friendly territory to stage from. The logistics behind such an invasion become even more daunting when you consider detection. Modern
True.
satellite surveillance
I think America is totally like covered. They have all the satellite access and they can actually see what's happening, near their countries. I'd seen one movie where America could even spy Pakistan, and India, whatever they are doing. I think America has all the knowledge. They can see everything.
radar networks, and maritime patrol aircraft make it virtually impossible to move large naval forces without anybody noticing.
True.
Any invasion fleet would be spotted days, if not weeks, before reaching American shores, giving US forces more than enough time to prepare defensive positions. But what about launching an invasion from neighboring countries? After all, the United States shares borders with Canada
Canada
and
and
Mexico.
Mexico, yeah.
Surely that
I was
creates
thinking that as
vulnerability,
well.
right? Unfortunately for any invader, they're deeply integrated into American military and economic systems. Canada is a NATO member and one of America's closest security partners. Mexico, while not in NATO, has extensive military cooperation agreements with the US and depends heavily on American trade. For any hostile nation to use these
Yeah, I don't think like Canada has some disagreements right now. I think so after the the tax and all that. What was that? The tariffs after Donald Trump, put the tariffs. I think there was kind of debate between Canada and Americans and Canadians not coming to America. I think that stays, but a military invasion is actually a big thing. You know, for other countries to use Canada and Mexico as a hostile country, they are not that undeveloped country, so you can't do that actually. um, they also depend too much on America itself, so why would they do that? I think so. Maybe this is not possible. Yeah.
countries as invasion routes, they would first need to conquer or coerce them. In other words, they would essentially have to launch two separate military campaigns before even reaching
Yeah,
American
true.
territory. This would require force projections of unprecedented scale and would trigger immediate American response. But let's imagine, hypothetically, that all of that somehow became possible. Even
Okay.
then, the geographic challenges are staggering. An invasion from the north would have to cross the Canadian Shield, a massive area of rocky terrain and forests, then navigate the Great Lakes region. The US military could easily cut supply lines by controlling key transportation hubs like Winnipeg or Thunder Bay,
Uh-huh.
effectively isolating any northern advance.
Wow.
From the south, invaders would face a large concentration of
Isn't there a physical border between Canada and USA? I don't know much, but the Mexican, I don't think that the tariff is that hard. I've seen so many people, go to US illegally trafficking. What was that called? I don't know, but they go through that big wall. I guess the wall of steel, or what do they call that? The wall between USA and Mexico, guys, do let me know. And I think they crossed through that, but I don't know, like Canada and USA, don't they have a road where they could go to Canada? Although the terrains are so difficult, because I don't know. I'm thinking of that because although the reason is like although they can't come and capture all the places, but they might have a road, right? At least they have a road from Canada to America.
American military power. Recent deployments have placed thousands of American troops along the Mexican border.
Wow.
Any
Okay.
large scale military movement would once again be detected immediately, and the attacking force would have to advance through some of the most challenging terrain in North America,
Shit.
including the Sonoran and Chihuahuan deserts.
The
But
terrain looks
here's where
difficult.
America's defensive
There's
advantages
desert
become
and
even
everything.
more pronounced. Let's say the invading force somehow established a foothold on American soil. They would immediately confront what you could call a natural defensive line. The United States is essentially divided by a series of geographic barriers that would force any invading army to fight for every mile of advance.
What? This is America? Are you sure? I never thought that these kind of hills and rocky mountains exist in America.
The Rocky
Guys, I
Mountain chain
always thought America is like that New York City.
runs like a spine through the western part of the country,
Shit.
creating natural choke points that favor America. The Mississippi River system divides the country into distinct regions,
That's Mississippi
each
River?
requiring separate river
Isn't Mississippi River the largest river of United States? I think I read that quite a while ago. I think it was largest or longest. I'm confused in that, but I think Mississippi River is the largest.
crossings under fire. Military history shows us how devastating river crossings can be.
Wow.
During the
Okay.
Civil War, battles like Fredericksburg and Antietam demonstrated the enormous casualties that result from forced river crossings against prepared defenses. Now
Shit.
imagine attempting such crossings against modern military technology, precision artillery, air support, and guided munitions, all directed by satellite surveillance and real-time intelligence.
Yep, there's no
There's
chance at all.
absolutely no shot of sustaining an invasion in this case. But perhaps America's most unique defensive advantage is its civilian population. specifically its relationship with firearms. The United States has the highest rate of civilian gun ownership in the world,
Bro, that is why there are so many gunshots in America.
with 120.5 firearms for every 100 civilians.
That is
To
not
put
good,
that
to
into
be
perspective,
honest.
Switzerland only has 27.58 firearms for every 100 civilians.
I actually read that. I had watched a video before. I think I have that in this channel where that video was about asking Britain people if they want to go to America, and almost all of them told about the gunshots, and why is it even legal? They asked first, and everybody was questioning the gun policy there in America. Why does it exist? And maybe that is the reason why there are so many gunshots news, why people feel unsafe there. If it was not that case, I don't think that would be harmful. If there was no gun at all, I don't know why
This
people are
creates a
keeping guns
scenario
though.
that military planners would probably call a strategic nightmare. It's one thing to defeat a conventional army. It's different to occupy a territory where a significant portion of the civilian population is armed and more than likely hostile. History provides sobering examples of what this looks like. The Soviets in Afghanistan, the Americans in Iraq, and various other occupations throughout the 20th century demonstrate that even the world's most powerful militaries struggle against determined civilian resistance. About 72% of American gun owners cite protection as their primary reason for ownership, suggesting a population already mentally prepared for defensive
Yeah,
scenarios.
why are they keeping these guns just for the defensive, for the protection? Why do they need that protection? I'm really confused in this though.
Then
Like,
there's the
are they thinking someone is gonna invade and you might need gun anytime? Why else? Why? I've never seen that culture in my country. I don't think UK has that,
simple matter of
bruh.
scale.
That
The
is
United
one thing I
States
don't like
covers
about America. But
approximately 3
I could be wrong, guys. Do let me know in the comments.
1.7 million square miles, making it the third largest country in the world by land area.
Yeah,
It
I
is
think it's after Russia and Canada.
larger than Australia, which has an area of about 2.9 million square miles. The US is more than twice the size of the European Union, which covers around 1.7 million square miles. Additionally, the US is roughly comparable in size to the entire continent of Europe, which has an area
What?
of about 3.9 million square miles.
Wow,
The distances
what?
involved are shocking from a military perspective. The distance from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles is about 2,700 miles. In order to sustain
What are you
any
gonna
kind of
invade
invasion
in
on America,
this?
the occupying force would need to maintain supply lines across these vast distances,
Yeah, how would
while
you
facing
occupy
constant
that?
harassment from both organized military resistance and civilian populations. Modern military thinking focuses on quick and decisive actions, because long campaigns can get really expensive and hard to manage. Given the vast size of the United States, pulling off a rapid takeover is pretty much impossible, and keeping troops in place for a long time would cost a fortune. Consider the economic cost for America during the Iraq and Afghanistan campaigns. Both campaigns involved far smaller territories and populations, but
True.
still cost the United States trillions of dollars over 2 decades. The scale required to occupy a territory the size of America would dwarf these figures by orders of magnitude. Of course, there's one last factor:
That is so true.
nuclear weapons. The United States maintains one of the world's largest nuclear arsenals.
Yeah, they're
And
gonna
American
use
nuclear
it, of
doctrine
course.
makes it clear that existential threats to the homeland would likely trigger nuclear response.
See,
This creates what is also known as mutually assured destruction. Any conventional invasion large enough to threaten American territory would likely escalate to nuclear conflict long before achieving its objectives. This reality fundamentally changes the calculus for any potential adversary that is
one nuclear weapon and the whole world gets destroyed.
thinking
Wow,
about invading
that's the
America.
power America has.
So, to return to our original question, what would it really take to invade the United States? The answer to that question reveals why no serious military strategist considers a conventional invasion of America a viable option. It simply just wouldn't be worth it. But what do you think? Where do you think America stacks up in terms of national defense? Let us know your thoughts.
What do you think, guys? Where does it stand? Like, I understand, okay, America can't be invaded. I'm pretty sure it's not just about the geography, it's about, all the power that America has, all the weapons it has, all the military it has. It has expanded a lot of its nuclear bases all over the, military bases to be precise, all over the world. They are very, like, there are many places where there is military bases of USA. So that kind of makes USA already powerful than other countries. So that is the main reason why nobody wants to take, you know, a fight. Nobody wants to fight with America except for China, of course. But still, I was wondering about that gun thing. Why do people need gun? Is it really because people are actually threatened there that anything can happen at any time? Anyone could invade you guys. If that's the case, please drop that gun, bro, and please live a peaceful life. And yeah, other than that, I would love to know the reason. What do you think about American invasion? As an American, I know you guys would be too devastated if it ever happens, but seeing the current situation, what do you think? I don't know much about the American politics, so I would love to know about that. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed this, to hit that like button and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. For now, bye.